Hello everyone, this is Merritt Trainboy speaking, and here in this video, I'm going to show you some recent purchases that I got during the month of October this year. Some of these items are very old, but quite classical. So without any further ado, let's take a look at them. So this first item that I'm about to show you is a bit of a newbie. And this is a Thomas plushie, which I got from a Kohl's. And here you can see all the details around it. And not only that, this plushie is for celebrating Thomas's 80th anniversary, but for Mattel's 80th anniversary. Like you can see here, there's this tag here, and here's another one that's actually built at the bottom. So you see there, this plushie was from Kohl's, and quite interesting. This type of plushie, he has like a foam built at the bottom, which I believe it's for replicating how sturdy the footplate is. Even though, while the rest feels very soft and squishy. And of course, the face looks like that. And yeah, I'm just glad to have this kind of Thomas plushie in my Thomas Tank collection. Next, we have a classic favorite, which came from eBay. Thomas & Friends VHSs, and there's 4 of them. The first one here is Thomas Breaks the Rules and Other Stories. The second one here is Rusty to the Rescue and Other Thomas Stories. And this third one is Thomas Meets the Queen and Other Stories. And this fourth and final one is Trust Thomas and Other Stories. I'm sure you already know what these VHSs are all about and what episodes they are from. Although 2 of them were never given a DVD release, while the other 2 were. But I only went for the VHS copies of them for obvious reasons. In many ways, I'm sure you would understand what the DVD versions were about. Now, these next 2 items here that I'm about to show you, I got them off of eBay from a US seller that was selling them. Don't ask why, because I won't go into detail. But anyway, here they are. These are Takara Tomy die-cast models of Hero and Gordon. And here, as you can see here, you'll notice that Gordon's packaging looks bigger than Hero's. But if it's placed this way, you can see the big packaging lines up with the small one. Don't know why, maybe Gordon's a bit bigger than the other engines like Hero. But anyway, let's get them open. We'll start with Hero. And there he is, free from his packaging. And now we'll open up Gordon. And here he is. Gordon the Big Engine. Also free from his packaging. So yeah, technically Gordon doesn't appear to be quite as big as I thought he'd be when I scaled him next to Hero. Even though that his box was big. But using Hero's box, he seems to fit okay with no problem. So yeah, I don't know why his box has to be bigger, but it is what it is. But what matters is that I'm just glad to have these two models with my other Takara Tomy die-cast engines. Okay, so this next item here was quite a lucky find for me. And this is the Wooden Railway Knapford Station set. Okay, so this next item here was quite a lucky find for me. And this is the Wooden Railway Knapford Station, the 2022 style. I never owned any of the original Wooden Railway versions of Knapford Station, which is quite unfortunate. And considering due to the fact of this range's cancellation for obvious reasons, I thought I would get this building of Knapford Station while it was still available at the time. And also it even comes with Annie and Clarabelle that are exclusive to the set. And I thought I would get those as well to go with Thomas. And right now, let me just give you a good look at the box before I open it up. Now I can get this box opened up. Oh, look at that. Oh, it comes with some screws. So it looks like that's everything out of the box. And I'm gonna have to stop the camera while I put this all together. Well, here it is, all put together. And you could see all the details and some flaws that this building has to offer. Like there's this loader that moves up and down, and there's even this little chute that dumps these, let's just say, baggage and bags of what these panels look like, that they go on, and you pull this lever, and they go down to this loading area. And there's even these crossing gates that open up. And for some reason, there's even this little wagon at the top that only moves back and forward for whatever reason. And Annie and Clarabelle, on the other hand, they have these holes on the top where you can load the people in them. So it would make it look like there's someone inside. I only got Annie with the people inside. And of course, I may have my downs about what this building could have improved. But overall, I'm just glad I got these pieces of rolling stock of Annie and Clarabelle to go with Thomas. Because what's our #1 engine like if he doesn't have his 2 faithful coaches to work on his branch line? Overall, I'm quite certain I'll be able to figure out how to work this building out with my wooden railway set. And before you say anything else, here's a look at the instructions that explains how this destination works. And it also shows some other items which are from this range. And now what I got here is this HO scale model of this Bachmann Central Pacific number 60 Jupiter. And I found this at a hobby shop which was on the far side of town. And this model caught my eye. And I even got this piece of rolling stock as well, but I'm only showing you the locomotive here for now. And you can see there's this price tag shows how much this thing had cost me. And there's the name of this locomotive, the Central Pacific number 60 Jupiter. There's the back of the box, top and the bottom, and there's another price tag at the bottom as well for some reason. Alright, now time to get it open. And here it is. Look at that. And now here is this locomotive on my HO scale layout, so we can give it a test run on the tracks. Well, that was a good test run for this locomotive. Now here is something that I picked up from a thrift store which caught my eye. This is an unusual looking Thomas bag, which is supposed to look like Thomas himself. So let me give you a good look at it. And of course there's that price tag that's still on, showing how much I have paid for this bag. And looking underneath, it tells me that this is a wooden railway product that was made by Learning Curve, and it seemed to be made in 2009. And now let's take a look inside. Oh, and look at that. There's more goodies, extra goodies, I should say, that are inside. And yeah, this was quite an excellent find, alright, because inside we see a My First Thomas, which is just a large Thomas the Tank Engine toy that comes with a yellow troublesome truck for him to pull. And you can see here why this is called an unusual bag, is that if you open it up entirely, if you unzip both sides, you get this cool looking playmat of the Sodor Railway, all the way from the top and down to the bottom. And as for this Thomas toy, not only that it pulls that yellow troublesome truck, which looks like it tilts back and forward, but it also makes this sound when you press the dome. Yeah! What an excellent find indeed. Well, here's the Thomas bag all zipped up and folded again, and you can see how big it is for that Thomas toy that was inside. And to give you the idea on how big this toy is, here's a size-by-size comparison with the new 2025 Metal Collection Thomas. And yeah, you can see how big it looks. And now, here we have a Trackmaster model of Skarloey. But this is a special Skarloey model, because what you see here, I think those effects are supposed to be watermarks or something. But this model was from the Greatest Moments pack, Skarloey Storms Through, which he comes with a slate truck carrying sheep. And speaking of which, what came with this model are these two sheep. And both of them were... I got them off of eBay from a YouTuber that was selling them, which his channel's name is called Steve the Weave, I believe. But what was missing here was the slate truck, which is this one. And in fact, this one was actually sold on eBay by Psychic Jason a long time ago. And because I got this slate truck here, and when I saw this being sold, I thought I would get them to go with the slate truck, so that I can call this Greatest Moments pack complete. So to Steve the Weave, I wanted to thank him kindly for letting me have this model to go with this slate truck. Okay, so I got some track out and made this little oval shape so we can give this Skarloey model a test run while pulling this slate truck with a sheep in them. And off he goes. Well, that was a good test run of Skarloey Storms through. And now this next item here was something that I had never owned before. And it's one of these items that I thought I would never ever end up getting. But of course, I've always wanted one of these. It's the Tomy Farcross Station. And let me give you a good look around it. And it's in a very good condition. And you can see there's the license info on the bottom. And here's a good look at the posters and the sign. And yeah, I'm just glad to finally have this Tomy Station. And finally, this last item here was another eBay purchase. And I thought I would add this to my Thomas Tank collection. And it's this Thomas right here. This type of Thomas is made by Tomy, and it plays music by these 4 discs that are loaded in the coal bunker, and they go in this slot that plays the music. This red switch here is for the volume, while the main switch is actually controlled by the funnel here. Overall, this is quite bigger than I expected when I first received it in the mail. But unfortunately, when I got it in the mail, you could see it's got one major problem. Apparently, the wheel has broken off. And it was in pieces, though. So you see here, this was the wheel that was supposed to go there. And I did try to glue the pieces back together. And this is all was left from it. So because of that wheel that broke off of this Thomas, I'm probably going to have to use some tack or caulking to fill in the rest. Or better yet, I would probably make a 3D print replacement, which would go there. But besides that broken wheel, the rest of it is in excellent condition. And on the bottom, there's a middle wheel, which can make this whole thing move in a groove. And right here, that's where the batteries go. This one takes 2 D-sized batteries. And let me just move it to a different place so we can see it moving in action. Like a much flatter surface than this carpet here. Okay, now we're at a different place where it's sitting on a much flatter floor rather than the carpet. So we can see this thing in action. Gonna pick this disc that plays the Thomas theme. And this is where you turn it on, and it makes these eyes open. So yeah, that's the sound it makes while it plays the music. Well, that was a good run. And I'm just glad to know that it still works. Well, there you have it. That is all the recent purchases that I got in October this year. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, some of these items were very old, but quite classical in some way, even though there were some other stuff seen here that were a bit newer. Hope you have enjoyed looking at them, and let me know in the comments which one of these items is your favorite. And until next time, thanks for watching everyone. This is Merit Trainboy, signing off.